Hello everyone, this is Ray from Infernex Productions, and welcome to my first Inktober. Now, to join this annual trend was a very, very impulsive decision. I was only reminded of this trend because someone had mentioned it on a Discord server, and then I had in turn mentioned it to a friend, and they're like, you know what? I dare you to join, since, you know, you've never done Inktober before, and, I stupidly agreed. So, I'm doing this now. Now, I won't be doing one every day like everyone else does, because I do not have the time. So I've opted for going for one a week, and hopefully that'll be easier for me, and hopefully I'll be able to achieve that. But anyway, as many of you probably know from watching other people's Inktobers, that every day has a different, you know, theme. But because of the way that I've done mine, I've changed the themes up a little bit. But the first theme is Monochrome Challange, which is basically doing an entire drawing in one colour. So I opted to do this one in just black and white, because that counts as one colour. But hey ho, I will hopefully do about, I don't know, 4 of these? Yeah, 4 of these over the month of October, so look forward to those. Anyway, the one I'm drawing now is just a drawing of my main cast of 4 from my animated series, Pagans OverKill. And I decided to do this monochrome drawing of them in Halloween costume, because, you know, 'tis the season to be spoopy. So the character I'm drawing right now, that is Logan, and she is dressed up as Frankenstein's monster, or some weird parody version, I guess, a more tame. But yeah, then the one I've just started drawing the arm for is Kane. Then the one I've just started now, this is Ife. She is dressed up as a witch, which is very fitting because in the series, Pagans OverKill, she is a witch. No one else is a witch. Kane is just a normal human, Logan is a normal human, and Conan is also a normal human. But yeah, so I thought their costumes should definitely be something that, you know, either means something to them or would be something that they would do, just to make it a bit more fun to do, because it's just fun imagining your characters doing weird stuff like that. But yeah, as I said, this is the main cast of my series Pagans OverKill, which is a series that takes place in 17th century England, and obviously the story is based around these characters and their journey to find these mountains, basically, because Ife has a vision of these mountains, and the 4 of them opt to go and see, basically. They don't really know where they're going, but they're all friends before this, so they trust Ife, and they know that she wouldn't lead them astray, so they decide to accompany her on this weird journey. Just a quickie. The character I'm drawing now is Conan, and he is dressed up as a cat for Halloween, apparently, because you know what? Who cares anymore? And plus, I can kind of see him doing that because he is a cinnamon roll. So I just imagine him being a cat. But yeah. As I said, they're all friends before Ife got all of these weird prophetic dreams, and they're all very, very young kids together. Basically, they're all in like the same village, I guess. Conan and Kane were best friends, Logan and Ife were good friends, and yeah, everything just kind of aligned for them, basically. Right, just finished the line art. So now, again, moving on to the colouring process. Now, for colouring in, I didn't use anything fancy, I just used very cheap kids' pencils, Colourcraft. Nothing special, but they get the job done, and plus they are cheap. So, I just use them. So, yeah. I also, with some dark bits such as the straps and knife shoes, her witch headband and Conan's headband, I just used the pen that I outlined with to colour that in, just to make it pop. And originally, as you can see, I was starting on the darkest areas, and then I was going to work my way up, but as you see the video unfold, I slowly don't do that anymore, because again, this was a very spur of the moment. I had no idea what I was doing, and was making a lot of it up as I went along, which is probably very apparent. But another thing I will apologise for is the lighting and the camera and everything. Again, not only was this very sporadic, but this was filmed at 10 o'clock at night when there is no natural light, so all I had was my room lights, which are behind me, hence why you can see my shadow moving everywhere. But, so hopefully that doesn't annoy you too much. Again, I will underline hopefully. Yeah, in this drawing I decided to use the slightly older versions of these characters, mainly because they're easier to draw. But when the series first starts off, they are quite young. If I remember correctly, I was 13, Conan was 15, Logan and Kane might have been 14 or 15 or whatever, but they were all around that same age gap. And by the end of the story, they are in their early 20s. So the story spans over a quite long period of time, and they aren't the only characters in the story. They're just, again, the main full cast. So, yeah. Another thing that I do in this drawing is, you'll see me do this a lot, especially with this bit, with Ife's hair. I'll colour I'll block colour in a very light shade, and then just keep building up colour as I go along, so then halfway through I can go, you know what, I do not like that colour, I'll keep going, or I can retract it. And then, because again, drawing in one colour is a lot harder than you think it would be, because you don't want to coloured bits in the same area together that look a similar shade, because it just looks horrible. So you've got to think not only the positioning of colours and what actual colours would be in black and white. This is why I find hard in things like comic books and manga, since a lot of them are done in black and white, so they have to think about it, and they pull it off quite effectively, I reckon. But then again, there is line art to split it up, so it's a bit easier. But then again, it is really hard to get your head around. Hence why starting with knowing what the lightest and the darkest colours are gives you a very strong foundation to do the mid-tones. And this cauldron was actually very hard to do, mainly just because of its shape, and I didn't want to move my sketchbook so that it was out of shot. So I had to move my hand very awkwardly. But, you know, sacrifice. And Kane's mask was actually very hard to do for some reason. But I think that was just the fact that my rubber is disgusting and horrible. But that's fine. I don't actually know why I made Kane a skeleton. It was kind of the only fitting thing, so he would not be a werewolf or anything like that. So, just kind of went for it. Also, you'll see me now, as I'm colouring, start to use a little Q-tip and it's me using that. It's not me being really nuts and weird. That this is actually an old technique that my mum taught me, because she is a good artist. When a lot of people, when they start out, use their fingers to blend pencil or colours and stuff, and obviously you've got oils and natural oils in your skin that doesn't look nice on paper, so it leaves marks and fingerprints and it just looks bad. So to get around this, use a Q-tip or a cotton swab or whatever you people call it, and it smoothens out stuff and helps with blending and gradients, and it's really, really helpful. It's definitely made my drawings a lot better, especially when drawing people's like skin, because again, it eliminates your like pencil strokes as well usually, but it doesn't work if you've drawn very hard on your thing, because you've already indented the paper. So that's another reason why I build up from a base layer and come up, because it allows me to blend a lot, you know, easier, and not just, you know, see the colour. I'd say probably out of these 4 characters, Ife's is my favourite main design, mainly because she's just so fun to draw. Like, in this sketchbook that I have right now, I already have 2 other drawings of her, just because she's really nice to draw. But character-wise, I kind of like Logan. Like, she's a very boyish girl. In the series, she's an archer, a very good archer, and her father basically rose her as a boy, but not in like a bad way. Like, he gave her the options, like, you know, do you want to go and do what the other girls do, like sewing and stuff, and she's like, no, I want to do what you and everyone else that I've seen you do, and that was like archery and farming and all of that stuff, because she was born a very strong girl, and she's just very sarcastic, and she gets on with everyone in the group. Like, she's kind of like their glue, because then again, Ife is a very sweet girl. But she withholds in herself quite a lot. So she's quite quiet around others, and she won't tell you everything, and that can annoy people. And then Conan is a very sweet boy, and he's very awkward, and he won't say things. He keeps to himself, much like Ife does, which is why they get along quite well, because they understand the fact that each other are awkward. But Conan, in a crisis, will freak out, and he won't know what to do. And then there is Kane, who is just kind of like there. His presence is very quiet, but as the series goes on, he becomes more of himself, and he finds out his personality, but he just feels like himself, basically. But they all have their own little growths in their own little ways as the series goes on. And now you can see me using a white pen just to add a few little details, such as in like the drips on the cauldron and the character's eyes, mainly because their eyes were looking quite dead and not as detailed as the rest. So I did that. It's always nice to add like a finishing touch like that. It just makes the whole thing come together. And it was also around here that I decided to add spiderwebs on Ife's sleeves, because I thought she looked a bit plain and less witchy, and because she looked more like she was in her own clothes. So I just added them, but the pen was being stupid, so every so often I'd have to like scribble on a bit of paper on the side, because you can see my hand keep going off. But that's what I was doing, because it doesn't work well on pencil. But as you can see, it's finished. So let's see the finished result, shall we?